If you've been making changes in your consulting firm from watching my previous videos and have implemented clear differentiation, built authority assets, and shifted from reactive to proactive marketing, there comes a moment when something changes. Clients start reaching out to you, not because you chased them, not because you responded to a tender, but because they've been following your thinking, shifted their beliefs, and as a result, they've decided that you're the safe choice. In this video, I'm going to explain what actually changes inside your firm when strategic authority is fully embedded, how sales conversations shift, how pricing pressure reduces, and how client quality improves, and how growth becomes more predictable and scalable. But the real transformation isn't just more inquiries. It's about controlling your future. Over the last few videos, we've covered a progression. We've talked about why being capable isn't enough. We've looked at how premium clients choose based on safety, not explanations. And we've examined how lack of differentiation and reactive marketing keep firms stuck. And then we outlined the 3 pillars of strategic authority marketing: clear differentiation, visible authority assets, and proactive marketing. If you want to learn more about the strategic authority marketing system, then check out the description below for a link to access my free Consulting Growth Code ebook, which spells out exactly what challenges you will experience in your growth journey and the key areas of focus to accelerate each stage of growth. This ebook will help you avoid the typical mistakes that most consultants make that leave them working harder in their business as it grows, instead of being able to build a business that works for them, enabling them to enjoy the freedom and prosperity that is typically their goal. Now let's talk about what happens when that system is working properly. One of the first things you'll notice is the language clients use when they approach you. Instead of, "Can you send us a proposal?" or "Can you tell us more about your services?" or "Why should we choose you?" you start hearing things like, "We've been following your content for a while. Your system makes sense for what we're dealing with. We think we need your help." That shift in language tells you something important. The heavy lifting has already happened. They're not evaluating you from scratch at the sales meeting. They've already accepted your thinking and want your help. The next change is in your sales conversations. You're no longer explaining your credentials. You're no longer trying to convince someone that you're capable. Instead, the conversation becomes about alignment. Is this the right fit? Is the timing right for us? Is your method appropriate for their situation? You move from persuading to diagnosing, from pitching to recommending, and that subtle change makes the entire process feel calmer and more professional. Another noticeable shift is around pricing. When authority is fully established, price stops being the central focus. Why? Because safety reduces comparison. If a client sees you as one of several similar options, they compare on price. If they see you as the authority for a specific problem, price becomes part of a broader value discussion. You still have commercial conversations, but they're different. There's less pressure to sharpen your pencil. There are fewer competitive proposals, and you end up with more negotiated engagements and longer-term client relationships. That's a structural shift, not a tactical one. As your differentiation becomes clearer and your authority more visible, the types of clients you attract improves. You begin working with clients who crave your insights, clients who respect your methodology, clients who follow your process, and clients who are committed to outcomes. And you start to see fewer of the difficult, misaligned, or price-sensitive clients who drain your time and energy. You gain selectivity, and selectivity is one of the strongest indicators that authority is working. When differentiation is clear and authority is consistently visible, something else changes. Your pipeline stabilizes. You're no longer dependent on random introductions or sporadic opportunities. There's a steady flow of aligned interest, not necessarily huge volume, but consistent, relevant conversations at a sustainable rate. And that consistency allows you to plan, to invest, to grow deliberately instead of cautiously. Predictability creates choice. Choice enables scalability. The most important change isn't operational, it's identity. You move from being a vendor, a service provider, one of several consulting options, to being the recognized authority, a specialist for a defined category of problem, the safe choice for a specific type of client. And when that identity shifts in the market, your leverage increases. You're no longer chasing sales, you're selecting clients. That's a fundamentally different position to operate from. Strategic authority isn't about posting more content. It's not about being louder. It's not about aggressive selling. It's about selective positioning, clear differentiation, specific expertise, proactive visibility. When those elements are aligned, clients begin reaching out, already trusting your process, already aligned with your thinking, and already primed to move forward. That's when you know the system is working. And that's when growth becomes deliberate instead of reactive. If you want to learn more about the Strategic Authority Marketing System, then check the description below for a link to access my free Consulting Growth Code ebook, which spells out exactly what challenges you'll experience in your growth journey and the key areas to focus on to accelerate each stage of growth. The ebook will help you avoid the typical mistakes that most consultants make that leaves them working harder in the business as it grows, instead of being able to build a business that works for them, enabling them to enjoy the freedom and prosperity that is typically their goal. If you want to know more about how you can implement strategic authority marketing into your firm, check out this video here, where I explain each of the steps you need to work on to fully establish the system and start getting predictable results.